Imagine this, you've just purchased a property in Ghana, you think you snagged an amazing deal, but weeks later you find out that you've overpaid by thousands. Or maybe you set up an Airbnb and no one's booking it and you're losing money every single day. Well, this happens to so many people in the diaspora who are trying to invest in Ghana. But what if I told you there's a tool that allows you to actually verify the real value of a property in Ghana before you actually buy it, and also potentially what the rental income for that property could be, backed by data? Today, I'm sitting down with Henry, the founder of Kuro Africa. His platform uses real data and real analytics to ensure that you never get scammed, you're always paying the right price for a property, and to also ensure that you have the understanding of how much rental income you could get. This video is actually a response to a comment that I recently received on one of my other videos, which said that they needed a team up between me and Henry. So I went to Henry, I said, Henry, look, this is what the community are saying, so let's do it. And he was like, yeah, let's do it. So today, I'm just doing this in response to our community. So shout out to my amazing community. And if you've got any more suggestions for team ups, for topics, put them in the comment section below. And I'll do my best to make sure one of my next videos answers that comment. And if you are new to my channel, you are in the right place if you're looking to find out about how you can invest in real estate in Ghana. On this channel, you will find everything from real estate property tours to my personal experience of investing in Ghana to sit down interviews with real estate experts. Now, if that sounds good to you, then make sure you do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button. Also, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on my future videos. And if you find today's video valuable, please do give it a thumbs up. And guys, I want to know in the comments as well, what's the most valuable thing that you've taken away from today's conversation? And as I said earlier, if you are somebody that has an idea or a potential person that you feel like I should team up with, then drop it in the comments. You never know, in my next video, I might be answering your question. And do stick around to the end of this video because I'm going to be giving you exclusive access to a tool that will allow you to ascertain whether or not you are paying the right price for a property and potentially how much rental yield you can get as well. Henry, welcome to the channel.
Thank you very much for having me.
We've been having a conversation for about a year now, I think, and I think it's finally overdue. It's finally the time for us to sit down and have this conversation. But it's also in response to a comment that I received on my channel where somebody said, Lorraine, you need to team up with Henry, you know, he's doing amazing stuff. So I'm glad we finally got the opportunity to do that. But for those people that don't know, Kuro Africa is transforming how people buy and also rent out properties in Ghana. But before we dive into the features, Henry, can you share a little bit about what inspired you to create this platform and how it can help investors to avoid costly mistakes?
100%. And thank you for having me again, Lorraine. So Kuro Africa came about from me trying to solve my own problem. I, like many others, would come back to Ghana and look for opportunities to invest either in a piece of land or some real estate. I've been involved in real estate in the UK probably about 20 years now. So I knew what typical market conditions would look like. And what I found with Ghana was that there wasn't some like real logic around pricing. It was very much anecdotal, what people felt they could get. It was very much anecdotal what people felt they could get, or, you know, based on what story somebody'd heard or whatever person had kind of said. Now, my problem with it was with that market landscape and the kind of prices I was hearing in dollars. And this was back in like 2018, 2019, which wasn't as bad as I see it to be now. It didn't make much logical sense given the income levels of the population and given that there weren't like government programs propping up the market like you get in the UK. So you like help to buy in the UK was effectively a help to sell for the developers, right? Because it just made access to debt easier for them to get it, right? Or there isn't a welfare state propping up the economy. So in the UK, where if I had a property that I needed to rent out and I was, especially around COVID, let's take COVID, for example. So COVID, my apartment was quite close to town, but Barking. It wasn't a nice area, but it was
Okay.
quick enough into town.
Okay.
And when COVID hit, everybody left the center of town, and the demand for property was really low, so struggling.
Mm,
But what
mm,
happened is that a local authority came and said, "We'll take it off you." That is a market in itself, and they
right.
pay pretty much the same. So with those dynamics in Ghana, I was like, this doesn't make sense, but I want to make sense of it. So I went about, to be honest, this was 2020. I didn't know anything about data and analytics, but I knew I needed to upskill. So I started upskilling in building data dashboards and things like that. And
Wow.
then, so I basically realized that 2020, there's probably going to be some sort of collapse. Jobs will be lost. You need to make yourself invaluable at the workplace.
Mm,
And so I started to learn data analytics. And as I was learning it, I was like, hang on a second. If I applied this to real estate data in Ghana,
mm,
I'd be able to spot trends. I'd be able to
okay.
identify some opportunities, lower price properties in hotspots, those kind of things. So that's how it came about.
Okay. And what was your background beforehand? Because you mentioned that you obviously had to upskill, and yes, you want to make
Mm.
yourself invaluable, but what was your background beforehand?
So I'm a career management consultant. So I used to work for Big Four, EY, and
Okay.
now, and then I also work for an Indian tech firm.
Okay.
They're doing like business process outsourcing, stuff like that.
Right.
So, but I didn't know anything about web development, data
Wow.
analytics, none of it in 2020. I started learning in 2020. Like literally, I started learning in 20,
This
and
is
and
impressive.
thank you. No, but and also I had a son on the way, so it was like
Okay.
all of a sudden the mindset shifted, and I found it interesting as well. And I realized
Mm,
that when you have a data perspective, all of a sudden your overall perspective opens up because you see the connections between
right.
things, relationships, and stuff like that. So
Right.
yeah, that's how it came about, and that's how I kind of started building. So I didn't know. Yeah, I learned web development. Learned data analytics, and then when I had enough of a MVP, I tested it, did a few YouTube interviews, saw that
Mm,
people were interested, and I said, okay, let me invest in it. And then I've started to build a team.
I love it. So if you were going to summarize what Kuro Africa does
Hmm.
in a sentence, what is it?
Yeah, so we help individuals and organizations make more informed investment decisions in Ghana, soon to be Africa.
Soon to be Africa. Okay, okay. Because I came about it, of course, because of some of the stuff that I do with Ghana and real estate. And so many of my, clients and viewers face challenges all the time when they say they wish they actually knew the price of properties, they weren't scammed, and also when they invest in real estate, that they want to know how much money they potentially could make. I want to know from Kuro Africa's perspective, how can your platform support clients like that who are potentially going in the market to buy property, or B, looking at properties they already have and they're looking to put it on, for short-term rental or long-term rental?
Okay, so best way to do that is actually to show you in Kuro. So if I can share a screen.
Absolutely.
Okay,
While you're doing that, can you explain to people what Kuro Africa actually stands for? What does it
yeah.
mean?
So Kuro or Kuro means town in
Kuro.
Tree.
Okay.
You see when they say, "Oh, Mikomi Krum," I'm going
Yeah.
to my center of my town. So Kuro
Hmm.
or Kuro is village or town in Tree. That's how it came about.
Amazing.
So on screen right now, what we have is our kind of flagship data lab. So what we have in Kuro is we have the ability to filter by geography, by price, by bedroom size, and by property type. And as I've just unselected house, you'll see the results that emerge. So if I was to say, for example, I'm looking at investing in East Legon Hills, right, which is a popular one right now. Let me take that one off. What that's doing now is it's highlighting the listings that it's found, and it tells you the minimum price you'd pay for rent, the maximum price you pay for rent. Time on market, something we're still working on, but we're trying to show the average time on market, how long it's been listed for, your median price and your average price. Median price is is a better guide. If you line all the price in the row, pick the middle value, that would be your median price. And then in here, we also have a breakdown of the listings that we found from highest to least expensive, and there's several pages of that. And we also have this map feature. So ultimately you can use the map to actually navigate around to see what different areas are priced at. I'll show you an example of that in a minute. So this immediately gives you an idea as to, okay, in this area, this is the range roughly I should be paying for rent, 6K to 8K cities. We also have a currency converter. So if you want to switch it to USD, it will then tell you the prices in USD. So minimum $77, maximum $4,500, median is about $400, average is about $530. So that can give you an insight both into what you'd have to pay for rent, but also what
Right.
returns you could make if you
Right.
invested in the property.
Right.
Go ahead. Is there?
No, I mean, absolutely. Already from seeing this, I mean, if anybody also can drop in the comments what your kind of like biggest challenges have been when it comes to you actually finding a property for rent, but also trying to understand like your price points. Put it in the comments. I want to see those. But also just the fact that you've provided more transparency in this market already from this, I think is amazing, because one of the challenges that I know a lot of people face when it comes to going into whether it's real estate or any business in Africa or on the continent, is the lack of data, right? And seeing that and the transparency. So actually seeing it like this reminds me of a platform that you can get in the UK, which is like market intelligence, especially where you want to look at, you know, price points in certain areas. I think fantastic work you've done already. So kudos to Kuro, you know, already.
I appreciate it. So we have some other features as well. And look, and part of the reason why I kind of went down this route was because I had experienced those same technologies in the UK and said, all right, if we apply it here, how would it work? So what I'm showing you now is kind of a price overview chart. What this tells you is, of what we found in Kuro, what is the most occurring price point or price bucket? So between 0 and 1,000 cities is the vast majority of the market, right? They might be single rooms, whatever. But if we were to change the bedrooms and say, all right, minimum 2, maximum 3, you're getting new valuations on what is happening with that search. If I switched it to houses, yes, again, you're getting new valuations. So this is, how we provide better insight. If I took off the town, then it's going to give me information around what's in the district and what the prices are. So when I took off the town as well, you'll see on the map, all of a sudden it's opened up to more locations. So if I, for example, go just Greater Accra in general, it will load again. And then here we go. We could use the map to navigate around the whole of Ghana and see the average prices for different areas.
And let's do a real life example. Can we do a real life example?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's say, for example, I am looking for a 4-bedroom property in the Spintex area. Okay. Let me know approximately how much it's going to cost me. And if I was going to use it for like rental income, what can I potentially get?
Okay. So what I'm going to do is, do you want apartment, house, or?
Let's go for a house.
Okay. So we've got this keyword search option here because in some areas, Spintex can be referred to as many areas. So if you want the surrounding area, I'm just going to put Spintex here rather than pull it from the geography filters. And you said for sale, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go over to for sale. Okay. So what this is telling you is minimum price is $57,000. That could be an uncompleted building, something like that. Maximum price is crazy, $21 million. But some people ask for that kind of money. But what you should be looking at is around the 230K. Right. That's what you should be looking at. Average price is 348. So I always take the median and the average and say we should be aiming between that price. And you can see with the Spintex piece, because of the Spintex road going from East Airport all the way up to Botswana, you can see on the map, because I use the keyword search, it's giving me the different related areas: Spintex, Botswana, some of East Airport, some of Community 18. So it gives you an idea. So for example, you're looking at Spintex, but Community 14 might be an option, or Community 18 might be an option. Some of the pointers on the map are a little bit different, but the data is correct. So yeah, it gives you an idea. If you want East Airport, you're looking at high money. If you want
Right.
Butsonas, it's a little bit less than Spintex. But these are the average prices. So again, we could look at the price overview. Let me just load that again. Oh, one more time. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Look at the price overview, and it says typically 41% of the market is between 200 and 300K. You've got another bucket, 40% of the market between 100 and 200. So you've got that range to kind of play with and understand that you should be negotiating around these areas. If you're looking at 300 to 400, you're in the top 8% of the entire market in terms of pricing. And remember, these are listing prices, right? So there's always room to negotiate in Ghana as
Negotiation.
well.
Yeah. Last price.
Exactly. You got to treat it like the market.
Indeed. How many listings do you have? Like, how many listings have you analyzed through this, and how many areas do you cover? Like, which areas do you cover at the moment?
Historical listings, I think our database is up to about 1.5 million.
Wow.
And on a month-to-month basis, I mean, I'll just clear this filter so you can see. So this data is February. 12,000 listings for rent, and for sale 6,600 listings.
Okay.
And what we do as well, as part of our processing, we remove duplicates.
Right.
So it should be a fair representation of the market.
Amazing. So let's do one more example, another example. A lot of the diaspora and people that I work with are always big on going to those locations that they always hear about. Osu, Cantonments, Laboni, East Legon, right? And we do know typically when it comes to the real estate market, especially in Ghana in terms of yields, typically studios and one beds in places like Cantonments, Laboni, Osu, typically on average, okay, bear in mind that Ghana is highly seasonal, tend to do better when it comes to rental yields. How can we back that claim with this platform? So if we were going to look at, Cantonments, Osu, Laboni, we can look at approximately how much would a one-bedroom apartment cost, how much rental yield can I get, and what's the rental yield with that?
Okay, so there's two ways to do that. So I'll start off with market analysis. So market analysis enables you to put in a town or set of towns and some criteria. So let's say we've said Osu. Actually, I haven't tried it this way yet, because let's see how it works. Cantonments and Laboni. Okay. Now, what this will do is it's showing you the average price and the median price for those three areas combined, right? We want to see it in dollars. Let's have a look at it in dollars. Right? Average price, median price is $1,500, which is surprising, right? You think it'd be even more. But actually, the fact of the matter is that the economy that it operates in, this does make sense. Now, let's change the bedrooms sizes. And you said one bedrooms, right?
Correct. Yes.
Right. So one bedrooms, this is the kind of return you could be looking at, right? Between $900 and $800, right? But then if you say that your price that you have been quoted as returns, let's say, I don't know, someone tells you this rents for $2,000 a month, right? What Kuro will tell you is that based on our database, the last quarter's data, this is very high in comparison to what everyone else has been, what we're seeing in the market.
Okay.
And what it also does is,
sorry, let me be very clear on that. So up on the left-hand side, you've got your price and you've got average price. So what you're saying, what is your price indicator going by? Your price, or is it going by the average price?
It's going by my price, given what I've told the system about the location and the bedroom size and even the property type.
So the $2,000 you're saying?
Yes, the $2,000.
So the narrative here is that you've put in a system that you are looking to ideally get $2,000 per month from this property, and that's what we're trying to verify. Is that what you're saying?
So what I'm saying is, if you've been quoted $2,000 a month in rent for a one bedroom in any of these three areas, you're more likely to be getting $900, $1,000.
Okay.
Right? But let's take off Osu, for example, and let's take off, I think Osu will make it, because Osu tends to bring the market average down. I'll take off
Down, yeah.
Leboni. And I'm also going to add the other spelling for Cantonments. Hold on.
And that price is the price that most people are used to seeing.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, even Cantonments, that's actually interesting. The average price is still 1,300, but this is for 1 bedrooms. Let's take it up to 2 bedrooms and see what happens. Now we've seen a significant jump, right? So at 2 bedrooms, you could get that price. But if someone's telling you at 1 bedroom, you're going to get $2,000, I would be mindful, because that's what Kuro can tell you. It can tell you that actually, which makes sense, right? For a 1 bedroom, maybe $1,900, $800 a month. But for a 2 bedroom, that's where your asking price really does increase a lot. And this is specifically for Cantonments. When you bring in the other areas, it's taken into account the other areas. Osu tends to be cheaper than Cantonments and Leboni, right?
This is really great, because this is all about making sure that we do have data-driven insights, especially when it comes to people, especially in the diaspora, who are looking to invest in property. It's always amazing. It's always good to ensure that you do have the data that backs the kind of area that you would like to go in and invest in. So when it comes to, for example, we've mentioned like the kind of like 1 bedroom approach in Cantonments, and we've seen, because your platform also offer you the ability to look at what potential yields may look like. That's my first question. And my second question is, does your platform take into consideration whether or not the property is furnished or not, or not furnished?
Second question, no, it's not taking into account furnished or unfurnished. But what we are trying to do with the platform now, and this is kind of a beta feature, but is a yield calculator. So we've said Cantonments 2 bedroom apartment. Here you'd put in, let's say you want $2,000 and let's say for argument's sake you've paid $250. That's what normally they're advertised at. Now, this is something that, your audience might not like to hear, but what we've done as well is we've actually incorporated population data and salary data. So for example, here your yield is 9.6. Your typical rental yield based on historical data in Kuro is better, but your occupancy likelihood is low or nothing based on the Ghanaian population, the Ghanaian incomes, right?
Yes. Okay. That's where we need to be specific.
Based on Ghanaian incomes. And where I'll show you that some more is, for example, on this same market analysis tab underneath here, we have a list of jobs that people are doing in Ghana. And this is based on the census information. And as a result, what their typical salaries are and what's the price income ratio for those jobs. So this is, 1,000% of somebody's monthly income in the accommodation and food services activities. Or, so this is all to be seen. But Cantonments typically is not for the typical person working. No, it'll be for the expats, it'll be for the returnees, etc., etc. So the corporate. So that's why it's different. But if you wanted to assess an area that's more affordable and you wanted to target a market, you could actually understand numbers of people that are in that market, what kind of jobs they do, and how much of how affordable is it for them. You can do that with Kuro.
Okay. So we spoke a little bit about the diaspora market. I've got a question for you, because right now there is a particular property development that's going viral right now from the gentleman that did the Earn Your Leisure podcast. They've teamed up with Shaka Bars, and they've released this Sambra City project right now, and I'm seeing it everywhere. There's like one school of thoughts that I think there's some noise going on that the government gave them the land to build on, and then they've come out and said, no, that's not true. We bought this fair and square, etc., etc. So there's a lot of things going on right now, but their target market very much is the diasporan community, where they're trying to build this city. And I'm seeing that at the moment. I think as of recording this, even probably this morning or yesterday, I saw they've sold out about 30% so far. So generally, what's your thoughts on the Sambra City project?
I mean, to each their own. Whatever you want to do it. But my thing is, the investment into Africa needs to support the future in which we want to see. And by that, I mean is, why add to the housing stock specifically for diasporans? If I were raising funds in that way, I would look to do some commercial activity that is viable, that creates jobs and gives a return to the people that are investing. The real estate thing is fine, great. You know, we have a diaspora city, but, you know, conceptually, or I don't know, I more feel like we shouldn't be secluding ourselves in a gated environment somewhere else. You know, these amenities and all those kind of things. But at the end of the day, the challenge is around, well, if you move to Ghana and go to one of these places, what kind of work are you going to do? How are you going to generate the income to pay? I mean, the minimum I saw for that development was 180K for a 2-bed.
Okay.
And then 450 for a townhouse. And you can see by the data how that sits. So for me, it's like, you know, I think we should be thinking about developing our country before we think about making money.
Interesting. Let's actually look at the data. Should we look at the area in which Sambra City is? Let's look at, on average, how much those properties are, okay, in that area.
Lorraine's being controversial.
Let's look at, on average, how much those properties are in that location, right? And approximately what the rental yields are, because a lot of people are going to be looking to buy in that location for multiple different reasons, right? They could be looking to buy because right now there's this global migration, or people that have realized that they've got some kind of ancestry in Ghana, so they're looking at how can I actually have and acquire property there. And also some people are looking to build generational wealth, and some people are looking to potentially just basically move there and, like you said, potentially work there. But let's think a little bit long term. Let's look at that area right now, which I understand is also an up and coming location, so it's not quite yet prime, right? But I think they are banking on the fact that the more and more people that come there, the more and more eyes that will come there, the more and more the rental market will go up. Maybe capital appreciation gain might come. Let's look at some of the data. Let's see what the data is telling us about this area.
Okay, let's have a look. So what I'm going to use is the keyword search, because it's an area called Baltimore, as I understand it. Oh, I don't have much on it at all. Let me just do 0.
Okay, so whilst you do that, for those people that don't know where Baltimore is like you're off the Tema motorway, and there's also some other developments that are going on in that area at the moment as well. So there's other property developments going on. I do know that some of the developers that I've worked with have prices slightly lower than the Sambra City one. Okay. So, and we've sold some as well at the slightly lower price. So I'm just interested to see what the data says about Sambra City, which is going viral right now in Ghana. Is it worth the price? Is it going to get the rental income? Let's see what the data says.
Okay, so I've just put in Borte as a key term, and the one property that's coming up for me right now is 700K cities, right? And that is a 2-bedroom apartment in Borte Man, or keyword Borte Man. Let me try and actually add a little bit more. Or do the surrounding areas, actually.
Okay.
Let's see. Let me do it here. So let me see if it's here. No, that's Bortiano, and it's in the Tema kind of metropolitan area. So let's do Tema metropolitan, and let's look at sales for sale. Okay. So median price 164. Let's say minimum bedroom 2. 164, and then let's go for houses, because their townhouses were 450, I think. And let's say, I don't know, minimum 2, maximum 5 bedroom. So in and around that area for sale, you're looking at about 160 to 240 for a 2 to 5 bedroom house. Let's go up to the higher bedrooms. So let's say 4 to 5 bedrooms, because I'm assuming their most expensive would be 4 to 5. Yeah, the max price is crazy. Someone's trying it, but average price is about 256. So relatively close, i.e. in the same district, you could pay 256
Mm,
potentially with room to
mm,
negotiate as opposed to
mm,
450,
Okay.
So that's
Okay.
a 200k saving depending on where you want to be.
Right.
I don't have a lot of data on Waterman, unfortunately. I have to look in the back end, but um, it seems quite wild. And the other thing as well you got to take into account is with some of these developments, they're asking for maintenance, service charges, and things like that. That's fine. But if I've shelled out 450 grand, I'm not expecting to pay $150 a month in
Every
service
month,
charge.
every
No,
single month. Yeah,
no,
I
because
hear that.
yeah,
I hear that. I
yeah,
hear that.
yeah.
And some developers I'm hearing are asking for those HOA fees in advance, like a year in advance. I've actually got something to say about that, actually, because I'm speaking from personal experience with HOA fees, service fees, etc. I do understand now why developers want to receive that money up in advance. When I first bought one of my properties in East Legon Hills, the service charges will pay every month. But the thing is, especially because it was a diasporan community that were mainly the property owners, we were renting it out to tenants. So a lot of us were not in the country. So what it meant is that some people were delayed with paying their service charges. Other people weren't paying it at all. So it was this kind of battle between the developer saying, you guys haven't paid, and these guys saying, you haven't given us the service. So it's becoming like very much this service fee culture in Ghana is very difficult because a lot of the developers might say, oh, we need the service charge for rubbish collection, for maintenance of the communal areas, for backup utilities, for example. But if then somebody is not paying these HOA fees, how are they going to be able to do it? So are you on the side of that should be built in to the property price itself? Or are you on the side of, oh, it should be something that is paid monthly, reoccurring, or as an additional cost?
To be honest, I've never really, I didn't know that. I didn't know that people were asking for it up front. I think I might have heard whispers of it, but I didn't really pay much attention. I don't see why that shouldn't be paid monthly, especially as if you've already bought the place. So why do you have to pay that up front? But to be fair, even my home in the UK, they take a service fee and it's yearly. But that service fee is a one-time payment of about £350 for the whole year. In Ghana, you're starting to see $200 a month for service charges. So,
Yeah.
I don't think it's beneficial. It's not helpful to attract the investment or, the owners that you want. I think it's counterintuitive.
So guys, if you haven't done so far already, make sure you do subscribe to this channel. Make sure you like, comment as well, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on my future videos. And yes, indeed, we look forward to hopefully once again be able to have or do something in collaboration with Kuro Africa. And yes, do check out the link below so you'll be able to get access 15% off Kuro Africa for you to actually explore the prices, the platform, and the AI that is up and coming as well. So guys, I'll see you in my next video. Bye.